Have you been increasing your protein intake but not feeling the benefits that you were told you would feel? I'm going to tell you why. I'm Heather. I help busy women feel well, and I've got 20 years experience in helping literally hundreds of clients achieve consistent exercise routines and make sustainable changes to their diets. In this video, I'm going to explain the likely reasons that you're not getting the benefits from the protein that you're eating, what to do about it, and what not to do about it. So, one of the first likely things that could be going on is your digestive system might not be up to digesting that full quantity of protein. And if you're noticing other gutty type symptoms, bloating, gassy, perhaps a bit constipated, or the opposite problem, having some diarrhea going on, then this is possibly an area to look at. Now, another, and I would say more likely reason is that you might not be correctly identifying a protein. Now, stay with me. Everybody knows that meat and fish are protein sources. But in the world that we live in now, where there are a lot more protein shakes, protein bars, plant-based proteins, and a lot of pressure to eat loads of beans and lentils, it's very easy to get swept along with chasing the protein content of foods that aren't actually pure protein. Take a look at a label of anything that you're eating. When you look at the back, what you're looking for in a protein is per 100 grams, the protein is higher than either the carb or the fat. That's how you know that you're eating a pure protein source. And that is going to be mostly animal-based proteins. Some yogurt might fit that bill. Cottage cheese might fit that bill. Eggs will fit that bill. But a lot of plant-based proteins will not fit that bill. And what you will find is that there are many more carbohydrates per 100 grams than there are protein. And that means that your body will be treating them as a carb in your body. Which brings me to the next reason that you are likely not getting the benefits you expected from protein, and that is that your blood sugars are out of balance. When you are eating carb sources, even if they are rich in protein for a carb, your body will still be treating those carbs as carbs, and you will be getting a blood sugar response accordingly. Now, every time we eat, we get a blood sugar or a hormone or a stress hormone or any kind of reaction from our hormones. And those reactions can be positive for our health or negative to our health. And that's really worth bearing in mind and thinking hard about. Now, you really do need to care about your blood sugars, and you need to really understand the true impact of them in order to really understand why you care so much. Because if your blood sugars are imbalanced, you're going to be experiencing food cravings. You might be experiencing excessive hunger, so you just can't get satisfied. Or you might experience an absolute absence of hunger. Either extreme is possible. You might struggle to lose weight, or again, you might struggle the opposite. You might struggle to gain weight. You'll likely have low energy levels or variable energy levels, and your sleep quality likely isn't great as well. And these are probably things that you are hoping to improve by increasing your protein intake, but it may well be that it's linked to your blood sugars and not a deficiency in protein at this stage. So the other thing that balancing your blood sugars will help with is just taking a little bit of stress out of your body. It will just make whatever other life stress you've got going on a little bit easier for your body to cope with. It will probably also help with whatever chronic issue you might have going on, whether that's headaches and migraines, whether it's hormone imbalance, whether it's IBS, or really almost any other chronic condition that you might have will probably be being impacted by your blood sugars as well. So what do we need to do? First, when you are choosing your proteins, you need to choose a protein that is a majority protein per 100 grams. So when you turn over the packet and you look at that little nutrition chart that tells you protein per 100 grams, fat per 100 grams, and carbs per 100 grams, when you're looking for a protein, choose a protein, yeah? Make sure it has got the most per 100 grams is from the protein and not from the carbs or the fat. That's really important. The next thing that we need to do is make sure to eat our carbohydrates in proportion. Now, when I say carbohydrates here, I mean starchy carbs. I don't mean vegetables, but I do mean anything that turns the water milky when you eat it. So that will, sorry, not when you eat it, when you cook it. That would be potatoes, sweet potatoes, it might be rice, it would be quinoa and all other grains. It would also be beans and lentils, and it will also be fruit as well. Admittedly, you're not often cooking fruit and finding the water goes milky, but we count fruit as a starchy carb. Now, with these starchy carbs, we need to moderate our portions. Even though there are really great nutrients and really important things in most of those things, we don't need to eat massive servings of them. And actually, you want to limit your serving size to about 60 grams or about the size of your cupped palm at each meal. Now, it can take you up to 3 days to start seeing the difference. In my experience, the first day is hell, and all you would like to do is eat something sweet or get some fruit in you or do something that eases the tension. But honestly, once you have fought your way through that first day, it then gets better and better. And by the time you've done 3 days, you should be noticing a big improvement in your energy levels. You should be noticing that your food cravings have changed, and you should be noticing that your hunger levels have balanced. So either feeling a little more hungry if you had no appetite before, or feeling a little less hungry if you were feeling super ravenous before. You might also be starting to see some improvements to your sleep quality, but depending on what was going on before, it might take a little bit longer for you to start seeing those benefits. So what we need to avoid is some obvious things, really. So when we are stressed, that impacts our blood sugar levels as well. So if we are continually pumping out stress hormones, our blood sugars will be being ramped up as well. So if you are living a lot of stress in your life, it's worth looking at, is there anything there that you can manage for the benefit of your blood sugars? If not, and if you just want to try the food changes to start off with, then you should know that just improving what you're eating does go a good distance towards reducing the stress levels on your body. But nonetheless, the stress is really worth pondering over. The next thing that we really want to avoid is inactivity. For the purposes of blood sugars, strength training, it's always good. It's always good for everything. I'm yet to find something strength training isn't good for. But for the purposes of blood sugars, we don't need to think about strength training. We really just need to think, let's just move. So sitting still all day, every day is probably not going to be ideal, but go for a walk, do some gardening, do some housework. And then if you can do some strength training, that's only going to make things better. The other thing we want to avoid is a poor diet, but really that's covered in what we've already spoken about. And the other less obvious thing is skipping meals. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I think of blood sugars, my mind goes to sugary snacks and that horrible crash that you get after you've eaten the sugary snacks. And that is sort of part of the blood sugar. But the other side of the coin is when you are skipping meals, you are derailing your blood sugars. And so that needs to be addressed as well. 3 meals a day is fine. Add a snack or two if you're struggling and you need to. But 3 meals a day is fine. You don't need to be eating any more regularly than that. But for this stage, we certainly don't need to be eating any less often than that. Now, what I would like you to do is get 2 or 3 weeks of this blood sugar balancing approach absolutely nailed. Once you've got to that point, you can probably afford to let the reins out slightly and let the odd sneaky treaty sneak into your diet without it causing too much trouble. Now, if you have a chronic condition, that may not be true. But if you're not fighting anything in particular, you just want to feel a bit better, then after those couple of weeks, you can probably afford to allow the odd bicky in here and there, as long as it is the odd biscuit and not a lot of biscuits all the time. I've got the symptoms actually of low blood sugars as well that I was going to share. So these are the symptoms that we don't really want to be feeling all that often, or ideally at all. And if you are doing this blood sugar balancing approach with your diet right, then you won't be feeling any of these. These feelings are anxiousness, feeling that shaky, sweaty, trembly kind of feeling. It might also be that funny sense of confusion that you get when your blood sugars have dropped a little bit too low, and you might also be getting headaches. There's a whole long list of things that you experience with low blood sugars, but those are some of the most common. Now, on the flip side, if you have got high blood sugars, because when they're dysregulated, they can be dysregulated in either direction, you might be noticing things like a dry mouth and increased thirst. You might notice sort of blurred vision, so where your eyes just aren't quite right. You might also be experiencing, on a chronic, a long-term front, you might also be experiencing recurrent infections. So that might be bladder infections or skin infections. Those are quite common high blood sugar symptoms as well. And the other one is trouble concentrating. So when you just can't get yourself to concentrate on something, that may well be a sign that your blood sugars are dysregulated. Now, I'm going to leave you with a final thought, because I know sometimes these sorts of things feel a little overwhelming and there's quite a lot to take on board. Progress is progress. Don't let perfect become the enemy.